what is typecasting means? Converting from one data type to another data type. That is, type conversion is called a typecasting. So that we know that Python is a dynamic typed programming language. By default, Python will take care about the data types. Whenever if you want to convert from one data type to another data type, at the time that we are going to use this typecasting. So for doing this typecasting, we're having some inbuilt functions. So what are the inbuilt functions for the typecasting means? Int, float, boolean, complex, string. So these are the 5 inbuilt functions that we're having to convert from one data type to another data type. Same like data type names only. Just we are adding the brackets. Why? Because these are the functions. So let us observe one by one. So in this session, be ready with the chart and then try to respond. First, let us observe here into function. So this function is used to convert the values from other types to the integer. So actually 10 is belongs to integer only. So no need to convert. Let us take some float value and then convert into integer by using a function int 10.5. So I'm converting the float value into the integer value. So now what is the value it will returns? 10.5 is the float. If I convert this float value into the integer by using a inbuilt function that is int, so what is the value now it returns? Yes, it is 10. Int of true. True is a boolean value. This value that I am converting into integer, what is the value? 1. Why? Because internally true is 1, false is 0. It is 0. Int of 10 plus 20j. 10 plus 20j is the complex value. This complex value I am trying to convert into integer. Now, here you'll get an error. So why? Because cannot convert the complex to integer. So these points are important. So it is better to know. Why? Because it is not possible to convert from complex to integer. Conversion is not possible. And also observe the errors also. We'll discuss later regarding these errors. What type of error that we are getting. I'm copying entire thing with error. So based on these errors also that we can understand the concept here. It is a type error. I'm trying to convert Srinivas. So what is the Srinivas here? Srinivas is a string value. I'm trying to convert the Srinivas into integer. It is not possible to convert. So we are getting an error. This is called value error. This is called value error. Now let us observe very clearly here. From float to integer it is possible. From boolean to integer it is possible. But from string to integer it is not converting. From complex to integer it is not converting. In this conversion, here we can find two types of errors. One is the type error, one is the value error. So type error, it is giving some statement that it is cannot convert the complex to integer. Means clearly Python is saying that it's not possible to convert the complex data type to the integer data type. Why? Because we are having some priorities in these data types. Based on that priorities only, it is converting from one data type to another data type. Simple. Srinivas is not possible to convert into integer, right? But if you take the 10 integer value to the string. If you keep the code, it is possible. So based on this precedence only, it is converting from one data type to another data type. So in this process, complex value is not possible to convert into the integer. Coming to this string, here also we are getting an error, but it is not a type error. If it is a type error, that we will fix that. Okay, it is not at all possible to convert, but we are not getting a type error. Type error means not possible to convert from one data type to another data type. At that time only you will get an type error. But here we are getting an value error. What is the meaning of this value error? Means it is saying that you are not taking a valid value. You are not converting a valid value. Valid string means string is possible to convert into the integer, but you have to take a proper string. You have to take a valid string. That is the difference between the type error and value error. That we can't say that string is not possible to convert into integer. Here it will convert, but the thing here it is, we have to take a valid value. But in other programming languages, it is not at all possible to convert the string into integer. If you try to convert the string to integer in the C, C++, or Java or any other languages, there it is fixed like this error, cannot convert the string to integer. But here it is possible. The condition is we have to take integer value with the base 10. If you take the integer value with base 10, then it is possible to convert into string. That is the valid value. So let us observe here. I am trying to take a valid as per the string conversion. So now I am taking int of 10 I am taking in the integer, the 2 in the form of decimal. If I take like this 10.0, it is comes under float again. It is comes under float. Okay. So I am taking only 10 in the form of decimal. So now 10, actually 10 if you take in the double quotes, let us observe here, a equals to 10 I am taking, so that we know that, okay, if you print it returns 10, but we will not understand whether 10 is belongs to integer or string. Whenever if you check the internal storage of this a, then only that we can identify it is belongs to string. Now the 10 is a string. So now what I am doing, okay, this 10, the 10 which enclosed with the quotes, this I am converting into the integer. String I am converting into the integer. Now it is possible. Now it is possible. Okay, here clearly they are specifying that int with base 10. Then only it is a valid string. So then it is possible to convert. So now the string is converted into the integer. But if you take like, okay, 10.0, so in this quote, everything it is going to take as a string. In this process, this dot is taking as a character. 10.0 is not in the form of int with base 10. So it is invalid value. Invalid value. Now, 0B1111. What is the output now? 0B1111 I am taking. But we know that 0B is the prefix for the binary form. 1111 means the value it is 15. So now if I try to convert this binary value into the integer, yes please. Clearly it is saying that while working with the strings, you have to take a valid value that for base 10. This is not a base 10. The value is in the form of binary. It is base 2. So it is not possible. It is a invalid value. So at the time of converting the strings to the integer, that we have to follow that it should be integer data type and the base is 10 only. That is in the form of decimal form only. Other than that, if you try to take like a float or other bases like a binary, octal, or hexadecimal, it will not accept. Only the integer with base 10, that is in the decimal form, right? So these 2 points that we have to note at the time of converting from strings to integer. Next, observe that how to convert from other data types to floats. Float of 10 is an integer value. So now what it returns? Float. It is 10.0. Float of true. Actually, it is 1. 1 will convert into 1.0. False will convert into 0.0. Float of 2 plus 3j complex. It's not possible to convert from complex to float. Type error. So type error means it is not possible to convert. So in this process, whatever the complex value it is, it is not at all possible to convert. But if you get a value error, the meaning here it is convert, but you have to take the valid value. So float of, so Srinivas is not a valid value. It's not possible to convert. Float of 10 I am taking 10. So 10, it is the integer value with the base 10, no problem. Even it is a string also, it will converge 10.0. Why? Because it is a float, right? 10.0. Float of 10.0. Now, see, whenever I am converting this value into the integer, there it is not converting. Why? Because it should be float. But coming to here, it is a float. We are converting into the float. The value is also in the form of float only. The string data, the format, it is in the float only. So we don't have any problem. It will convert. It will convert. Float of, and anyhow, that we know that first of all, float itself, it will not support these different bases like a binary, octal, or hexadecimal. So anyhow, it is not possible to convert. So you'll get an error, value error could not convert the string. Value error could not convert the string to float. So this type of values is not possible to convert. This type of values. Here also we'll get an value error. So if you take a proper, that is valid value, so then it is possible to convert the string to float. So in these two data types, only 1 point. Complex is not possible to convert into integer and float. Character is, that is string is possible, but we have to take a value. So these 2 points that we have to remind at the time of working with these integer and float. Next, Boolean. So in this Boolean, let us check, we'll understand Boolean of 1. So be ready with the chart and then respond. Boolean of 1. 1 is the integer value. This integer value I'm trying to convert into Boolean. Boolean means either true or false, right? So now it is written true. Boolean of 0, false. Boolean of 10, true. Boolean of -20, true. Boolean of 0.01, 0.01, true. So the condition here it is, while working with Boolean, if it is 0, then it is false. Otherwise, true. Only this condition that we have to follow. 0.01 is not equals to 0, right? Boolean of 0.0 now returns true or false. Yes. 0.0001 is also not equals to 0. It returns true. If it is a 0, then only it returns false. Otherwise, okay, boolean of 0.0. Now it returns false. Other than that, it returns true. And one more condition here, not only 0, if it is empty string, then also it is false. Either 0 or empty string, it returns false. Otherwise, it is true. Boolean of, I'm taking Srinivas. Srinivas is not an empty string, right? So it returns true. Boolean of now. Please respond. If I execute, it returns true or false. It returns, yes, it returns true. Why? Because in between these two codes, one space is there. So that we know that space is also a special character. So with space, it is not an empty string. Space occupies one bit memory, means it is some string. Boolean of, so now this is the empty string. Nothing is there in between these quotes. Now it returns false. Complex value I am taking. Okay, no problem. This is not equal to 0, right? True. Boolean of 0 plus 1j. 0 plus 1j is not equals to 0. Boolean of 1 plus 0j. It is also not equals to 0. Boolean of 0 plus 0j. Yes, now it is equals to 0. It returns false. Boolean of 0j. Yes, 0j is equals to 0. It is false. While working with the Boolean, only this point that we have to note, either if it is 0 or empty string, then it is equal to false. Otherwise, it is true. Next, complex conversions. Converting from other data type to the complex data type. So at the time of working with the complex data type, that we have to know that here it is having a real value and imaginary value. Complex of, if I take only A, so if I take only one value, here it is going to treat that value is a real value. Otherwise, if I take the two values, okay, A comma B, so here A is the real value, B is the imaginary value, right? So now let us start working with the single value. Complex of 10. 10 is the integer value, right? Now I am converting into the complex. Complex format, it is A plus BJ. So here the A value, it is 10. Real value is 10. So 10 plus, what about imaginary? So we are not taking anything, right? So by default, it is going to take as 0. So then the output, it is 10 plus 0, say 10 plus 0, say. So the integer value, whatever it is, so it will take it is minus 20 plus 0, say. Complex of float values, I'm taking 10.5. 10.5 plus 0, say. Even if you not take a float, by default internally, it is going to consider as a float only. Complex of, I'm taking Boolean value, true. Okay, 1 plus 0, z. Complex of false. So false means 0. 0 plus 0j is equals to 0j. Complex of string, I am taking string. So string values not possible to convert, but we are not getting type error. So if you, okay, if it is a type error, then it is not at all possible to convert this string into the complex, but I am getting the value error. Value error. So the meaning here it is, if I take like this, then it will convert. If you try to take the valid string, then it is possible to convert. Right? 10 is converting into 10 plus 0 z. Complex of 10.5 is 10.5 plus 0 z. So if you take a valid, so this point is also important. Okay, if you take a valid string, so then it is possible to convert at the time of working with the complex data types. Next, let us start to work with two values. So complex of 10 comma 20, 10 is the integer value, 20 is the integer value. So here the first 10 is considering as a real and 20 is considering as an imaginary value. So now the format it is 10 plus 20j. 10 plus 20j. Yes. So even if you take a float values also, 20.5 plus, sorry, a comma b value, 35.45. Yes, it is 20.5 plus 35.45j, complex value. Complex of minus 2.5 comma minus 3.4 is, it will convert. Integer values, float values will convert into the complex. Let us take the Boolean values, true, true, 1 plus 1j, complex of true comma false, 1 plus 0j. So it will, okay, Boolean values also is possible to convert. Now, let us start working with the string. So if I take like this, okay, no problem. Single value, it will take as a real value. So that is 10 plus 0j. While working with the first value is a string. Complex of A, in this A, if you take as a string, it is no problem. In the complex of A comma B, if you take the first value as a string, then it will not consider the second value. Are you getting the point? If you take the first value as a string, then it will not consider the second value. Second, we are not talking about what type of value is the second. Whether it is an integer, a string, or some other, okay, it is not a case. First thing, it will not accept. So in this, you'll get an error, that is type error. So it's not at all possible to take the second argument if first is a string. So this point you have to note. Complex cannot take the second argument if first is a string. Right? Next step. Complex of 10 comma 10 comma, I am taking 20. Second argument I am taking in the form of a string. In the form of a string. Here, one more condition that it is, it will not accept the second argument as a string. It will not accept the second argument as a string. Again, type error. So these 2 points that we have to note at the time of working with the complex conversions. Second argument cannot be string. Right? Next step. If you are taking first argument as a string, then it cannot take the second argument. It cannot take the second argument. So these 2 points that we have to note at the time of converting into the complex data types. The time of converting the complex data types. Right. So next, string data type. So string is used to already we are having a method str, right? So str is used to convert other type values to the strings. So let us observe here. I'm trying to convert integer. Okay, it will convert. 10.5 float, it will convert. If I convert the boolean value, okay, it will convert. If I convert the complex value, yes, it is converting. So there is no conditions at the time of converting from other data types to the string. Every data type, integer, float, boolean, complex, all data types will convert into the string. Why? Because simply it is adding, okay, quotes, enclosing the quotes and then converting into the string. So it is possible to convert the other data types to the string. So like this, that we have to convert the data type from one data type to another data type. So this concept that we can call it is a typecasting. But the thing here it is, we have to know that which data type is possible to convert from one data type to another data type. So in this, integer is possible to convert, float, complex, float, boolean is possible to convert into integer. Complex is not possible to convert into integer. String is possible with valid values. Similarly, integer boolean is possible to convert into float. Complex is not possible to convert into float. String is possible but with valid values. Integer, boolean, integer, float, complex, string, all values convert into the float, but only one condition. If the value is equals to 0 or empty, then it is false, otherwise true. Complex, integer will convert, float will convert, boolean will convert, string. Conditions we have to follow while taking the first argument, second argument, then it will convert. If you not follow the okay condition that if you try to take the second argument, if first is a string, or if you try to take the second argument okay as a string, then it is not possible to convert. Other than that, it will convert all. String, there is no limitation. Whatever the value it is, whether it is an integer with a different base formats like a decimal, octal, hexadecimal, binary, whatever it is, float, boolean, complex, whatever the data type it is, so it is possible to convert into the string data type. So next step, and one more point, it is better to know. So here we are observing that some errors, right? So if you know the type of the error, then it is easy to understand. Then it is easy to okay solve that error. It's a rectify to error to that error. So here we observe two errors, type error. Whenever it is not possible to convert from one data type to another data type, then you will get an type error. Whenever that you are not taking a valid value, at the time you will get an value error. Similarly, here we will find some different types of errors. Let us observe here. A equals to Srinivas. Just I am clicking enter without closing that quote. So I am getting an error that it is called a syntax error. Whenever if you not follow the format, whenever that if you not follow the syntax of the Python, so then we will get an error that is called a syntax error. So a equals to 2 plus 3i. Actually 3i is not the syntax, 3j is the syntax. So here I am getting an error that it is called syntax error. Whenever we are not following the syntax of this Python programming, then you will get an error that is called syntax error. So based on the type of the error only that we can identify that what is the mistake that we done. Type error means it is not possible to convert. Value error means here this value is not valid. Syntax error means this is okay, not the proper syntax, right syntax. A equals to, I'm taking here Srinivas. See, actually, string means that we have to enclose it with the quotes, right? But I am not enclosing with the quotes. Can you please guess that what type of error now it returns? Can you please guess? It will accept or it raises an error. If it raises an error, what type of error it will raise? Yes. Here it raises an error. The error name it is name error. Why? Because if I assign directly like this, what it will happen means, if I assign directly like this, what it will happen means, it is treating this Srinivas is the name. It is treating that Srinivas is the name. Any one of the name that we know that identifier. Any name in the Python is an identifier, like it is a function name, module name, variable name, okay, whatever it is. So it is treating that it is some name, some identifier. So that is the reason it is giving an error that it is a name error base. That name is not defined. See, let us observe here. A equals to n. So now what I am doing, B equals to A. So what is the meaning of this? We are assigning the value of A into the B. Means in this syntax, it is treating that B is the variable. The value of this A is the variable. The value of this A assigning to the B. Similarly, here also Srinivas is the variable. It is trying to assign the value of this Srinivas into the A, but actually that we not define the Srinivas like A equals to 10, right? So that is the reason we are getting a name error. But now I defined the name, that is, okay, the variable I defined A. Now I am assigning the value of this A to the B. So now it will execute, no problem. So in these cases, in these situations, that we will get the errors like name error. Not only this, we are having so many errors. Whenever that whenever if you not follow the indentation in the Python, that you will get an indentation error. So like this, we are having different types of errors. So all these types of errors that we will learn one by one. And also we are having one concept that is called exception handling concept, how to handle the errors. So there we are going to discuss in detail about these errors. But until that, if you got any error, so please observe that what type of error it is. Based on the type of the error only, that we can identify the error, what is the mistake that we done. Name error means the name is not defined. Type error means it is not possible to convert. Value error means it is not, okay, you have to take a valid value, it is invalid. Syntax error means we are not following the syntax of this, okay, Python. So like this, that we have to understand, right? So next, keep adding one of the important concept and also very basic concept in every programming language, not only in Python. So that is operators. So operators, that belongs to the mathematical concept. So the operator can be defined as a symbol which is responsible for a particular operation between two operands. See, 10 plus 20 or A plus B. 10, 20 are the operands. Plus is the operator. 10 and 20 are the operands. Plus is the operator. So this operator can be defined as a, here it is plus, right? Plus a symbol which is responsible for a particular operation between two operands. These operators are the pillars of a program on which the logic is built in a particular programming language. Any language, these operators plays the main role on a logics. So Python provides a variety of operators. So let us observe here what are the operators that we are having means arithmetic operators, arithmetic operators, comparison operators, assignment operators, logical operators. So like we are having some more bitwise operators, membership operators, identity operators, like this. So coming to one by one, arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used to perform arithmetic operations between the two operands. So it includes some of the operators like plus, minus, division, star is for multiplication, like some more double star is there, double hash is there, right? So what is this means? So these are all very basic only. Why? Because okay, from schooling onwards that we are learning all these operators, but we have to know that how to use these operators in the Python. So that it is completely based on the practice only that you can understand that how to use, what are the formats and so and so. So this is the addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. What is this double star means? Double star is the exponent, right? And one more, this is for division, right? For remainder, we will use this percentile operator. This is the exponent, like whenever if you want to represent the power values like 2 power 2 or 2 power 5, so at that time we are going to use this exponent. This is the floor division. What is the difference between this division and floor division? Means floor division will returns the value in the form of integer. That is the difference. So what you have to do from your side means, let us work with the different, okay, let us work with different examples by using these operators like 10 plus 20. Either you, okay, if you assign the values to the variables based on the variables a plus b, so like this also that you can practice. 20 minus 10, otherwise let us assign 10 comma 20, right? So a minus b, b minus a by b, or b by a. See, I'm getting 2.0, right? So just I want to return only the integer, not okay values after dot. So at that time we have to use the floor division b double slash a. So that is the difference between single and double slash. Reminder a. So we'll get a reminder. It's a module operator. Multiplication, exponent. I want 10 power 2 means a power 2. So actually here we have to use the operator, that is exponent. 10 power 2, it is 100. So like this, what you have to do from your side means, let us work each and every operator with practicals. Right? So next, coming to the comparison operator. So comparison operators are used to comparing the values of the two operands and returns the result. It is going to returns the in the form of boolean, either true or false. So what are the operators means? Comparison. Okay, so equal operator. Actually, single equal is not for comparison, it is for assignment. A equal to 10 means it is, we are not comparing the a and b here, a value and 10. A equals to 10 means the value 10 that we are assigning to the variable a, so equal place the assignment. So comparison, whenever if you want to compare the two operands at the time that we are going to use the operator that is called double equal. This is the comparison. Double equal, this is not equal, less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. So these are the operators that we are having, comparison operators in the Python. So it returns only, okay, either true or false. See, 10 is already a value, b value, we taken, right? A equals to b. 10 is not equals to 20. A is not equals to 20. Now it returns true. A is greater than b, false. A is less than b, true. A is less than equals to b, true. So like this, that you have to work with all comparison operators. So next step, assignment operators. Assigning the value to the variable. So one operator that we're having, equal operator. Already that we work with this equal operator. Similarly, with the equal that we are having some more operators like increment equal, decrement equal, okay, multiplies equal, like, okay. So whatever the assignment operators that we are having, just by adding that assignment operators to the equal, so that we can work. So that it is beside here itself, I'm writing equal. This is the, okay, one of the operator mostly that we'll use, like some more operators like plus, equal, minus, equal. So all whatever the arithmetic operators that we are having, so all these arithmetic operators that we'll use in the assignment. So for incrementing and assigning and something, okay, all this. So if you practice that, you'll understand that. Okay, so if you take a equal to 10, b equal to 20, a plus equal to b, if you take a plus equal to b, so it will be equals to a equals to a plus b. Therefore, you'll get an result that it is a equals to a plus b, means it is 30. So like this, you have to do the practice from your side. Next, coming to the logical operators. Actually, logical operators in other programming languages, okay, these logical operators will represent with some special characters like ampersand, and operator, something in C, C++ languages. But coming to this, okay, Python programming here, it is going to take some keywords, reserved keywords. And means A and D and, or means or, not means not not. So based on this only, here it will works. Logical operators will works. So what is the use of these logical operators? Means mainly it is used to make a decisions. See, let us observe here. Whenever if I want to work with a more conditions or more than one conditions, so conditional operator that will work like this: 10 equals to 10, it returns true. Now I want to take more than one condition. 10 is equals to 10, it becomes true, right? And 20 is greater than 10. So here the condition is also true. So true and true. What is the logical value for the true and true? It is true. So like true and false, false and true, false and false. Based on that, you will get the result. The same thing if you work with or. So or means we are having some conditions, right? While working with and logical. So here, if the both conditions are true, then only it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Like if there is a false, true, false, true, false, 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 it returns false. But coming to the or logical, if any condition is true, it returns true. So true, true, it returns true. True, false, it returns true. False, true, it returns true. If it is false, false, then only it returns false. So these things also that you have to, okay, practice from your side. And not is the opposite, right? So whatever the first four operators that we are having, first four types of operators, so these are the operators frequently that we are using in our Python. And these operators, very rare we are going to use this. bitwise operators, membership operators, identify operators, and all this. Actually, bitwise operators performs bit by bit operation, right? So here we're having some, okay, I'll give the list of these operators. You have to do the practice from your side. So AND is the operator. So on bit by bit operation that will use this. So if the both the bits are the same place in two operands, okay, then only it will returns 1 0, that is true or false. This is the binary AND. This is the binary OR. Okay, so this is the binary XOR. This is the negation, like left shift, right shift. So these are the bitwise operators. Coming to these membership operators. So Python membership operators are used to check the membership of a value inside a Python data structure. If the value is present in the data structure, then the resulting value is true, otherwise it returns false. So here we are having two operators. One is in, not in, right? So next, coming to the identify operators. So identify operators will identify whether it is belongs to that data type or that condition at the time. We are going to is not. These are the two operators. So while working with the data structures, at the time that we can understand this is not in. If the value is there in the data structure, okay, it returns true. If it is not there, it returns false. If you want to check whether it is so and so or not, so at the time we are going to use these operators. So like this, that we have to work with the operators. Utilize these portable features. So what are the flavors that we're having here means, so we're having some of the flavors. Based on these flavors that we can utilize the portable feature. C Python is one of the flavor in Python. C Python is the standard flavor of Python. So it can be used to work with the C language applications, right? Similarly, J Python is the, now they changed it as Jython, Jython. So it is for Java applications. It can run on JVM, Java Virtual Machine, means Java programs that we can execute in the Python, Python programs that we can execute in the Java by using this flavor. Iron Python. So it is for C# .NET platform, like a Microsoft C# is there, right? So C# programs that we can run in the Python, Python programs that we can run in the C# by using this Iron Python. Py. The main advantage of this PyPy is performance will be improved because compiler will available in the PVM. JIT compiler will available in the PVM. So PyPy is one of the flavor to improve the performance of the programs, like Ruby, Python for Ruby platforms, Conda Python. So just okay, what we are using in our course already, that we install this Python, right? Conda Python. So it is specially designed for handling the large volume of data processing. So like this, that we're having so many flavors. Okay, so actually, whenever if you want to execute the different programming applications to Python or Python to others, so at that time only that we are going to use these flavors. Coming to Python versions. We're having Python 1.0 version, which is released in January 1994. Python 2.0 version is there. It is introduced in October 2000. Python 3.0 version. Present we are using the latest version under this Python 3.0. It is released in the December 2008. But one point that we have to note here. So present we are working with Python 3, right? The version Python 3. It is having so many versions in the Python 3 with Python 7.8, Python 8.0, Python 9, Python 9.1, like that. We're having so many versions. So present we are okay under the Python 3. Before that Python 2.0, before that Python 1.0. Now there is no Python 1.0 in the market. Why? Because Python completely removed these Python 1 versions from their server. Why? Because it is outdated. So many updates is happened in these latest versions. So completely they removed this Python 1 from their servers. Present Python 2.2 and Python 3 is running, and Python 3 is the latest version. So many features that you are having in the Python 3, and there is no guarantee Python 3 2 will continue in the future. Maybe they're also they're okay, they will remove this 2.0 like a 1.0. Okay, so we are going to work with Python